Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today I'm doing a Mathmech deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because you guys have been requesting this one like crazy recently because this deck just got the new Mathmech Diameter. I've never seen so many people be excited about math before, but hey, whatever the kids are doing now these days, but whatever. So I'm really excited for this deck because it's really fun to be able to OTK your opponent with the final Sigma. It's really an awesome card to be able to just make it and just drop it against your opponent and do double damage while it's in the extra monster zone and just do all sorts of added bonus effects with your Mathmech monsters. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below because we have some awesome rewards for you guys, like getting your name switched for every single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, or even getting requested deck profile just like this one every single month that you're a patron along with test hands. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Mathmech Sigma. So Mathmech Sigma is a really cool card that if you control the monsters in your extra monster zone while this card's in your hand or graveyard, then you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. Also, you cannot special summon monsters in the extra deck except for Cyverse monsters, which the majority of the stuff that we're playing in the extra deck is Cyverse anyways, so it's not that big of a deal. You can only use the effect of this card once per turn, and if this card you control is used as a synchro material for a Mathmech monster, you can treat it as a non-tuner as well. So this card can be a tuner or a non-tuner, whatever you particularly need it. He is your man. We're then playing 3 copies of Mathmech Subtraction. Mathmech Subtraction is pretty good in the deck too because you can target one face-up monster on the field you control. You cannot special summon monsters for the extra for the rest of the turn except Cyverse. Also, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if you do, the targeted monster loses 1,000 attack until the end phase of the turn, which is pretty good just to be able to target your opponent's monsters and reduce them down by 1,000 and then get you a monster on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Mathmech Addition, which does the exact same thing but boosts by 1,000, which is pretty cool to boost up your monster by 1,000 to do extra damage. We play 3 copies of Nabla. Nabla is pretty cool too. I like Nabla as a 3 of. I know a lot of people have been dropping Nabla down as a 2 of, but I think it's still a 3 of because this card is super good. Because you contribute to Cyverse to special summon a Mathmech from your deck. It just grabs any Mathmech that you need out of the deck. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a Cyverse monster you control in your extra monster zone. It can make 2 attacks during each battle phase. This card is the card that I want to see personally every single game. So I can go into my final Sigma and just OTK my opponent as quickly as possible with 2 attacks. We then play 2 copies of Diameter. Diameter is a really good new card for the deck that has really excited me for this deck. It's really cool. I really wish they would have printed it in super rare because then all of your Mathmechs would have been super rares, but hey, whatever. When this card is normal summoned, you can target a level 4 Cyverse monster in your graveyard and special summon it. But it can't activate its effects this turn. But that's totally fine because it can help you get into your level 8 Mathmech monster and also help you into other plays. And it also has the ability that a monster that was used to synchro or XYZ summon this card gains the following effects. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can special summon the turn this card was special summon. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can quick effect negate the effect. So it gives your Mathmechs also a negation, which the deck desperately needed. For the last 2 Mathmechs, we're playing a single copy of Multiplication and a single copy of Division. These cards are really good in the deck because what they do is they let you... the effect of Multiplication lets you target a level 4 Mathmech monster and its level becomes 8, which is really good. And also, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Cyverse monster you control in the extra monster zone and its attack becomes double until the end phase of the turn, which can help you double the attack of your Cyverse final, or your copy or Yugioh Mathmech's final Sigma. Now, Division is kind of cool because it lets you tribute a Cyverse monster you control in the extra monster zone, and then you can special summon a level 4 Cyverse monster from each of your hand and graveyard. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, then you can target one face-up monster on the field and its attack becomes halved, which is pretty good as well, because it helps you get monsters out of your extra monster zone, like your XYZ monsters. You tribute them off, and then you get special summon 2 monsters on your side of the field, and you get to synchro summon essentially into your final Sigma. So that's it for the Mathmechs. Let's get into the generic Cyverse support for the deck. So for the generic Cyverse support, we're playing 3 copies of Balancer Lord. Balancer Lord gives you an additional normal summon. This card might as well be a Mathmech card because it lets you once per turn pay 1,000 life points and then give you an additional normal summon, which is the big effect of this card that you're going to be using. We play 3 copies of Parallel XZs. This card helps you with synchro plays like you wouldn't believe, because what this card does for the deck is it's searchable with your copies of your microcoder, which is really good. And it also has the ability that if you link summon, you can special summon this card to a zone that link monster points to. Then you can special summon another Parallel XZs from your deck, which is pretty good. We then play 3 copies of Microcoder. Microcoder is really good in the deck too because it helps you search your counter trap, which is Signet Conflict, and it searches Signet Mining as well to get you a search out of the deck. And it's really easy to go into your Cyverse, your Code Talker inverted in the deck, or your copy of the Earth Code Talker monster, which is called Trans Code Talker, or it lets you go into your copy of Access Code Talker by using this card in your hand, which is really good in the deck. We then play 3 copies of Lady Debug in the deck too. Lady Debug is really good because it's normal summon. You get to add a level 3 or lower Cyverse from your deck to your hand, which is pretty good to be able to add your copy of Microcoder directly from your deck to your hand. That's the big effect that you're going to be using with this card all the time. And then a card that's not a Cyverse that you play in the deck is 2 copies of Nibiru, because Nibiru is easy to make on the field, and it's really easy to be able to OTK your opponent after you give them a Nibiru token. It's just really nice. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into spells. Before we do, I really quickly will mention is you can use this card in your hand to actually link someone, which is why this card's so good. And as soon as you link it away, you get to search a level 5 or higher Cyverse monster, which is going to be your Parallel Exceed, so it's really good in combo pieces in this deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Call by the Grave. The 3 copies of Call by the Grave just stop our opponent while we're trying to OTK them from doing all their shenanigans, like dropping hand traps and stuff like that against us. 3 copies of Signet Mining, really good card in the deck because it's going to search literally anything in the deck, because you send a card from your hand to the graveyard, and then you add a level 4 or lower Cyverse monster from your deck to your hand. We play a single copy of Foolish Burial Goods, or not Foolish Burial Goods, but Foolish Burial. Really good card in the deck too, just helps you out getting cards out of the deck to be able to thin the deck down and use certain cards like your Division to revive stuff out of the grave, and your copies of the Diameter to help you get those out of the grave too. A single copy of Mathmech Equation. With all these math problems, you might as well have an equation somewhere. You gotta have an equation. What this card does, it lets you target a Mathmech in your graveyard and special summon it. If you do, it gains 1,000 attack points, which is pretty good. It's just a good 1-up to me. I don't feel like I need it any more than 1, so I just played at 1. So that's it for the spells. Let's get into the 2 traps we play, which is the 2 traps we're playing: a single copy of Mathmech Super Fractoral and a single copy of Signet Conflict. So Signet Conflict is searchable off your copy of Microcoder, and when you use Microcoder to summon a Code Talker monster, you get to search a copy of a card that has Signet in its name. That's a spell or trap. And this card's Infernity Barrier while you control a Code Talker monster, which is really cool. And then also, your Mathmech Super Fractoral is really good because it lets you target 3 Mathmechs in your graveyard with different names to activate one of these effects. You get to special summon them, but then you immediately Synchro Summon, or you special summon them and then you immediately XYZ Summon. So it's really good to be able to immediately XYZ Summon or Synchro Summon into Final Sigma, or your 2 copies, or your 2 other Mathmech XYZ monsters. This card's just really good. It's basically get you a free XYZ or a Synchro, and then this card negates just about anything that you need as long as you have a Code Talker on the field, which is super nice. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Yugioh Mathmech Final Sigma. So Final Sigma is a really good OTK maker in the deck. It's unaffected by all effects except for Mathmech cards. And then while in the extra monster zone, if this card is in the extra monster zone, battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage inflicted to your opponent is doubled. And if this card attacks, is destroyed by battle in its owner's possession, it's destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add a Mathmech card from your deck to your hand. So it not only replaces itself, but it does double damage, and when it's in the extra monster zone, it's unaffected by all other card effects, which is really good. We play a single copy of Yugioh Mathmech Magma. Magma is pretty good too, because what this card does, you don't summon this quite as much as you summon the Final Sigmas, but it's there just in case you need it. When this card destroys a monster by battle, you can target up to 2 cards your opponent controls and destroy them. And then if this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, then you can add a Mathmech spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is your copies of your Mathmech Equation and your Super Fractoral, which is pretty good. We play one of each of the Mathmech XYZ monsters, starting with this one, the Alpha Batron, or Alpha Batron, or whatever it is. What this card does is you get to tribute 1 monster to special summon 1 Mathmech monster from your hand or deck, in your graveyard, and if this card is XYZ summon, you can use 2 or 4 materials from this card to activate these effects. You get to add a Mathmech from your deck to your hand, you get to add a level 4 monster from your deck to your hand, or you get to add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which is really good. A lot of people got really hyped for this, but then they realized this card took too much commitment to actually put it in anything else. So not a lot of people actually play this outside of Mathmech now. We play a single copy of Mathmech Law. This card's really good. Law Playson. What this card does is it takes 3 level 4 monsters, and if a Mathmech card you control be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can detach material from this card instead. And if this card, XYZ summon card, this card's XYZ summon, you can detach up to 3 materials in this card and then choose the effects in tandem, which is pretty cool. And you can activate each of them twice, each effect twice. And you only resolve the effects in the listed order, skipping any of these words not chosen. You can send a random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. You can send a monster from your opponent's controls to the graveyard. You can send a spell and trap your opponent controls to the graveyard, which is really good. This card's really good. It's kind of good for control. I don't use it all that much. I usually just go for Final Sigma and OTK. Then we play a single copy of Access Code Talker because it's probably the best Cyverse Link monster in the game now. Sorry, Avermax. 1 copy of Transcode Talker, which just helps us bring back stuff to our side of the field and makes Txne Conflict live. Unicorn to be able to spin stuff. Phoenix to pop spells and traps. Your Code Talker inverted because it's really easy to go into Code Talker inverted with your copies of your microcoder. And also it has the ability of this card's link summon. You can special summon a Cyverse monster in your hand to a zone this card points to, which is really good. Splash Magician because it can revive stuff. Your copy of Cyverse Wit Kid because it's a Synchro Cyverse deck, so this card's really good in the deck. Link Disciple and Link Devotee, both are really good to help you draw cards out of the deck and give you tokens. And then also, you get to play a single copy of Linkuriboh in the deck too. Linkuriboh is a good one-of in the deck because you can use your copy of Microcoder in a pinch to go into this card, and it's just overall a really good card in the deck. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really fun deck to play around with. It's basically an OTK based deck with a little bit of control, which is pretty cool. And then Final Sigma just goes in and just takes games, which is what's amazing about this deck. It's such a cool deck to play around with, and I am super excited to show you guys this deck. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. And check out the Patreon down in the description, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.